So did they try to fix things? I mean, was there any way to salvage the partnership to get everyone back on the same page?
Oh, they definitely tried. Imagine trying to wrangle a group of scientists, each with their own ideas about how to save the world. It wasn't easy. They explored different funding models, tried to find new ways to work with Highline, even looked at restructuring their leadership.
So they were really trying to keep this spirit bomb charged up, huh?
Exactly. But sometimes, even when you put in your best effort, those differences are just too big.
And that's what happened with KTL.
It is, and that's when things took another really interesting turn. The folks who are the most passionate about the spirit bomb strategy
Were the ones who really believed in this idea of using AI to help small businesses. They decided to strike out on their own.
Wow, talk about a leap of faith. Walking away from something you've invested so much in, that's got to be tough.
It is. It's like when Goku realizes he has to push himself even harder to reach that next level,
I get it. So what did this rebuilding phase look like for them? Did they just start from scratch?
Pretty much. Yeah, from 2020 to 2024, they were like a phoenix rising from the ashes. They channeled that Saiyan resilience and built a new company called Black Fox Studios, focusing on AI and business consulting. But here's the really smart part. They saw these hackathons not just as competitions.
Hackathons, yeah, those coding events where teams race to build cool tech projects.
Right, exactly. But Black Fox Studios saw them as a way to build credibility network with potential partners and refine their approach to using AI for business.
It's a clever way to prove you can walk the walk, not just talk the talk. But wasn't AI still kind of a niche thing back then? I mean, it wasn't as mainstream as it is now.
You're right, AI was still emerging, but Black Fox Studios, they were ahead of the curve. They saw these hackathons as proving grounds to show that their AI solutions could solve real business challenges. And then boom, late 2022, ChatGPT hits the scene.
Yeah, ChatGPT, that was a game changer.
It was, suddenly everyone's talking about AI. It was like the world finally caught up to what Black Fox Studios have been working on all along.
Talk about being in the right place at the right time. So how did they ride that AI wave?
They went all in. Became one of the first AI-focused business consulting firms in the area. And they came up with this really smart 3-tiered approach to scaling their impact.
3 tiers. Okay, I'm intrigued. Lay it on me.
First, they started with library workshops. Now, you might be thinking, libraries? What do libraries have to do with AI in business?
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking.
But it was actually brilliant. Libraries are these community hubs accessible to everyone. They're seen as trusted sources of information. By offering workshops on AI for small businesses, sometimes even for free, Black Fox Studios built credibility, generated some revenue, and connected with all sorts of potential clients.
So smart. No need for fancy marketing campaigns. Just go straight to where the people are.
Exactly. And once they had that foundation, they moved up to the next tier, community college training programs.
Makes sense, leveraging those relationships they built in the South King County educational system. What were community colleges looking for back then?
Well, community colleges are always looking for ways to give their students practical skills, skills that are in demand by employers. So partnering with Black Fox Studios to offer AI training, it was a natural fit.
It's a win-win. Students get valuable skills, and Black Fox Studios gets to expand their reach into the business community.
You got it. And that brings us to the third tier, corporate-sponsored hackathons.
Yeah! We're talking, that's where the big players come in, right? I bet those are intense.
They were. They attracted top talent from universities and the tech industry. And they gave Black Fox Studios a chance to really show off what they could do, network with potential investors. The whole 9 yards.
I can only imagine the energy in those hackathons. All those brilliant minds working together, trying to solve these complex challenges. Did they have any big wins?
Oh yeah, they had some pretty impressive victories. And it wasn't just about winning. It was about proving that their AI solutions could actually deliver results.
Okay, spill the tea. Give me some examples. What were some of their standout projects?
One of their first big wins was at the Microsoft Reactor Hackathon back in early 2024. They created this AI-powered shopping tool that helped people find more affordable alternatives to luxury bags.
That's cool. AI for fashion. I can see that being a huge hit with a lot of people.
It was. And then a few months later, they participated in Just the HACK, a hackathon focused on using technology for social good.
I've heard of that one. They do some great work.
Yeah, and Black Fox Studios. Their project was an AI tool to help people facing eviction understand their rights and navigate the legal system. And guess what? They won first place again.
Wow, so they were using AI to help people in need. That's awesome.
Right. It shows that AI can be used for more than just making money. It can be used to make a real difference in people's lives.
It all circles back to that initial vision they had at KTL, making a positive impact beyond just the business world. So they're building a reputation, winning hackathons, proving their solutions work. Where does the spirit bomb part of the strategy come into play?
That's where things get really exciting. Remember how Goku gathers energy from everywhere to create that ultimate blast of power?
Yeah, of course. Who could forget the spirit bomb?
Well, that's essentially what Black Fox Studios is doing with their strategy. They're gathering resources, expertise, funding from all these different places with the goal of empowering small businesses with AI.
Okay, I'm starting to see how it all connects. So they use the hackathons as a proving ground to build relationships, and then
They take it to the next level.
yeah.
Their vision is to turn those hackathons into full-blown AI and small business conferences.
Conferences, like those big events with keynote speakers and breakout sessions.
Yeah, but not your typical boring conferences. These would be dynamic 3-day events that combine training, mentorship, real-world product development, even opportunities to pitch ideas to investors.
Whoa, hold on. So it's like a supercharged hackathon where the goal is to launch actual businesses.
Exactly. Ambitious, right?
Definitely ambitious. Walk me through it. How would something like that even work?
Okay, so imagine this. You walk into this conference center and it's buzzing with energy. You've got entrepreneurs, tech experts, students, mentors, all of these people excited to see how AI can transform their businesses.
Sounds like my kind of place. So what happens first? Do they just jump right into building AI solutions?
Not quite. Day one is all about laying the groundwork, making sure everyone's speaking the same language. So they start with intensive training sessions on AI fundamentals, how it works, how it can be applied to solve real business problems.
Smart move. You don't want to throw people in the deep end without any context.
Exactly. Then they introduce lean startup methodologies so people can learn how to test their ideas quickly and efficiently. And finally, the brainstorming begins. Teams start to form ideas, start flying. It's electric.
Love it. It's like that moment when everyone raises their hands to give their energy to the spirit bomb. Combining their unique skills and perspectives to create something bigger than themselves.
You got it. And then day two, that's when things really start to take shape.
Okay, so the ideas are flowing, the teams are formed. What happens next?
Time to roll up those sleeves and start building. Teams get to work building out their AI-powered solutions. And they have access to some amazing mentors.
Mentors? Like who?
Remember those big tech companies sponsoring the event? They send their experts to guide the teams. And then you've also got mentors from the SBDC network.
So it's a real collaborative effort. You've got all these experienced people sharing their knowledge and helping these teams bring their ideas to life.
Precisely. It's like a crash course in building an AI-powered business.
Oh,
And I bet those mentors have some incredible stories to tell.
so what about day 3? Is that when the pressure's on?
You could say that day 3 is pitch day, but it's not your
Typical cutthroat competition. The teams get to present their solutions to a panel of judges.
So it's like Shark Tank, but for AI.
Kinda. But the judges aren't just looking for the next billion-dollar unicorn.
They're a mix of industry experts, economic development leaders, people who genuinely want to see these AI solutions make a difference.
I like that. It's not just about making money. It's about using AI to solve real problems.
Exactly. And the support doesn't stop when the conference ends.
Really? What happens to the winning teams?
Well, the most promising teams, they get funding, ongoing mentorship, even incubation support to help them turn their projects into real sustainable businesses.
Wow, so they're not just getting a pat on the back, they're getting the resources they need to actually launch and grow their businesses.
Right. It's about planting seeds that have the potential to blossom into thriving companies, create jobs, contribute to the economy.
And all of this is happening in South King County, a place that's often overlooked by the tech world. Black Fox Studios is making a real statement by investing in this region.
They are. They're building a more inclusive model for economic development, one that's not just about extracting talent, but about nurturing it.
I love that. So what about the long term? How does Black Fox Studios plan to scale this vision beyond just a few annual conferences?
That's where those SBDC relationships come back into play. Remember how I said that SBDCs are already embedded in the small business world?
Yeah, they're like the backbone of small business support.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And a lot of SBDCs are looking for ways to incorporate AI into their programs. So Black Fox Studios wants to be their go-to AI partner.
So they're creating a national network of AI-powered business development programs, all fueled by the Spirit Bomb strategy.
Exactly. And they're not stopping there.
They're developing their own training curriculum, offering workshops and consulting services directly to businesses. And get this, they're even thinking about creating their own venture capital fund.
Wait, a venture capital fund? Are they serious?
They are. They want to invest in the most promising AI startups that come out of their programs. It's a bold move, but they've got the track record and the passion to make it happen.
It's incredible. This whole document, it's not just a business plan, it's a roadmap for a more innovative and equitable future.
It's inspiring. It shows you that even the craziest ideas can become reality
Right.
if you've got the right vision, the willingness to adapt, and a strong belief in the power of collaboration.
That's the beauty of the Spirit Bomb strategy. It's not just about technology, it's about people.
Yeah.
It's about bringing together a diverse group of people, all united by a common goal.
And they're not waiting for permission. They're taking action, building relationships, showing the world that even a small group of people can make a huge difference.
This has been an amazing deep dive. I'm so energized by this whole Spirit Bomb strategy. It's a reminder that we all have the power to contribute to a better future.
We do. So what seemingly impossible dream are you ready to bring to life? Think about it.
That's a great question for all of us to ponder. Thanks for joining us for another deep dive. Until next time, stay curious and keep reaching for those impossible dreams.
And we'll examine the impact they're having on communities and businesses.
Sounds good.
We've talked about the big picture,
Right.
the CE Coop, and their community solar fairs.
Yeah.
But I'm curious about what makes these events so special.
Okay.
What are some of the specific components
Yeah.
that really stand out and create that aha moment for attendees?
One of the most impactful elements, I think, is the visual spectacle of the solar arrays themselves.
Oh, yeah.
Seeing those panels
Yeah.
silently powering the entire fair, from
Yeah.
the food trucks to the music stage,
Yeah.
really drives home the message
Okay.
that renewable energy isn't just some futuristic concept.
Right.
It's here, it's now,
Yeah.
and it's powering our lives.
It's one thing to hear about renewable energy,
Right.
but to actually see it in action like that
Yeah,
must be pretty powerful.
it's amazing.
I imagine it sparks a lot of conversations and questions.
Absolutely, and that's what the CE Coop Boss is all about.
Yeah.
who's using his voice to enlighten the future generation.
Now, take you through our design inspiration. So we use symbolism and metaphor to design our experience. We are in the chocolate factory universe, and chocolate is representing, signifying resistance and operation and empowerment. We also use artistic resistance as an idea to tell our story. Next slide. This was our design process. We did a lot of brainstorming and we did a lot of storyboarding. We had multiple scenes, we had 3 characters, and one of the biggest challenge was telling 3 elder story in one experience. So we needed to find like a common theme, and that was very challenging for us, but we ultimately did it. And most of us, we don't have a lot of design experience, and one of our very talented tech Kieran, she learned Adobe Aero in like overnight. So this was our content creation pipeline. We use different softwares to tell immersive storytelling experience. We used Adobe Aero, we used Figma, we also used Sora. So Andrew will take us through the chocolate factory experience.
Hello, thank you. See if I can do this at the same time. So, welcome to our chocolate factory. It's a factory of stories, because when we interviewed all 3 of them, what we realized is there's an actual theme, and it's called chocolate flying. We'll get into that. So what we start off with is unwrapping the history And this is the demo getting played, but it will restart. And what happens is at the beginning, you have a crayon, you draw in with the chocolate crayon this character, and it starts to set a flame to reveal a chocolate bar. And inside of it is a magic ticket. This ticket, just like a movie we've all particularly seen, Willy Wonka, takes you to the Unwrapping the History and Chocolifying, which is a beautiful chocolate store that just pops up from where the ticket comes. And then you see our first hero, our first guide, Stephanie Johnson, congratulates you on getting the ticket, because what you have now been invited to is a world of stories through chocolate. Different tastes, different sweets and treats, which will unravel history throughout chocolate. So are you guys ready for the first taste? Because each bar takes you to a different time and place. That bar, you took a bite, and now you're in the theater. You're sitting in the middle of the Langston Hughes Central District Theater. And what you see, like in our AR experience, is a screen and a stage. And when the curtains close and come together, what pops up is a young boy. This young boy is all alone, and he looks disturbed because he says, I don't know what to do. They never let me play the hero. They always cast me as the villain. And when I try to be something more, they shut me down. Maybe I'm bad. Maybe it's because I'm black. And our second hero comes in, Isaiah Anderson, and he says, I know they made you believe you couldn't be the hero in the stories, but here at Langston Hughes Theater, we choclify stories. So if they say you can't be Peter Pan, well, we made Peter Pan my brother's keeper. And if they say you can't be Snow White, well, we made Snow White and the Motown Crew, because that's what we do. We choclify stories to allow the kids to play the characters and see themselves as heroes in their own stories. But we also have heroes from the past, the ones that you were never told about. And have you ever heard of the Black Panther, he says to the kid? I think so, but weren't they dangerous? That's what they told you. That's what they told you about your heroes. But they never let you play them because they don't want you to know they're heroes rather than the villains they told you about. So, heroes who look like you. Now this scene we didn't get there, but he had a black beret on. He hands it to the kid. The kid hesitantly puts it on, and when he does, he finally gets to play the hero. He transforms into a hero we know. He transforms into Elmer Dixon, a 15-year-old kid who was here in Central District, Seattle, one of the first people to start the Black Panther. And now with this pride, this kid says, I am Elmer Dixon. When I was 15 years old in the Central District, me and my friends formed our own Black Panther group. Yes, we carried guns. Yes, we studied the law books. And, go ahead. Because we wanted to protect our communities. But we weren't just about power. We fought against hunger with our free breakfast program. And as you can see, this is the AR experience in which you would walk through that program. And you're walking through something brilliant, something great, but unfortunately, that's not how the national news talks about it. That's not how you hear about it.
Man, I was watching this documentary, and it said the Black Panthers were basically a domestic terrorist group. They were out there with guns, threatening cops, and causing all kinds of chaos in the 60s. Yeah, I heard the same thing. I mean, J. Edgar Hoover even called them the biggest threat to national security at the time. That's gotta mean something, right?
And unfortunately, they don't tell you the other story, the story of them actually building medical care facilities. They also didn't tell you about the food programs where they actually brought food and started that. That's the history that they whitewashed, and that's the history that they don't want you to know, because we weren't just about black people, we were about all people. And that's why we said, we want black power for black power, brown power for brown power people, red power for red people, yellow power for yellow people, white power for white people, because we say all power to all people. And that means all power to all people. And exactly at that moment, the taste of that chocolate that you just had, that little minty taste in it, it finally leaves your tongue, and you transport back when you can. There's always a glitch in the matrix sometimes. And now you're invited back in that moment, back in the chocolate store, and you hear, how was it? Did you like the taste? Because that was chocolate. It comes in many flavors, just like history. You see, chocolate comes in many flavors, just unwrapped a piece of your past. One more thing though. Today you try 2 flavors, but next time there will be yellow chocolate, red chocolate. So many ways to experience a new chocolate-fied history. But now the real question is, what are you going to do with it? The knowledge, the chocolate, and the taste. We'll be waiting for you.
Tourists. And that's where we are now not just generating food on our land, not just generating electricity, but now we have temporary housing opportunities as well. Great, we have 20 minutes, we have a good time. So, questions about any of this and how you activate this on your land? Oh, the last thing I need to show you, this system. This is another example of a micro solar system. We're able to put this down. We put this down in like 30 minutes, and we can scale this as well. So this is how we power our events. We're able to come in, our team sets this down, connects it to our battery, pops this up, and now we have an event. And when we can scale this and it's warmer, and now have more energy systems throughout anywhere. Every single piece of land can be energized now. And it can be done at cost through Second Life Solar and these recovered solar panels. And now the price of batteries are also dropped. So this is what we wanted to present so that you know it's possible and now actually work with you to put this down. In fact, I know our partners, the Murphys, are over there. They have this absolutely beautiful piece of land in Portland, 100 acres, 150 acres. And I would love to set this down up here, and any one of you that wants to Airbnb and test it out, come there and get away from the family. This would be your opportunity, and showcasing how we can support their family and their generational wealth and activating their land, as well as you guys enjoying some peace and quiet in a green space.
I wanted to ask about, this is amazing, thank you all for what you're doing. I wanted to ask about the products that you're getting from these companies that are, or these businesses or organizations that no longer are using these or upgrading. Are you having, once you receive them, are you having to do repairs? What is that kind of, also, is that also a pathway for like training people on how to repair solar?
I love that. I didn't mention this, but I do a green workforce program with the Port of Seattle where I train individuals to set up. The core answer to your question is Hans there does some quality insurance and makes sure they're okay. But the irony is these panels are perfectly good. Okay. They're coming off and they still work. Some of them get broken, and mostly in transportation. But these are good panels, like your iPhone's still good. You know, unless you break the screen. And it probably still works, but...
Oh, wow.
So the panels are quality. They're just being no longer efficient enough to make profit because electricity and solar is considered a commodity. That's what I'm really hitting. Like even Department of Energy, they only see it from energy generation to the load and the payment. And I'm like, wait, but then the load is an air to water generator, so we're converting that into water that now we're giving into the plants that grow, and now we're generating food. So all that energy conversion and how it converts on your land from energy to food to housing to support to water, all those things is what I'm focused on, is how you use the power versus how you send it back to the grid, which is always a secondary, but you guys have to have control over it first.
Yeah.
creating those opportunities for dialogue and engagement.
Right.
They understand that education is key
Yeah.
to driving change, and they've designed these fairs to
Yeah.
be interactive learning
And
experiences.
speaking of interactive learning,
Uh-huh.
what about the composting stations?
Oh, yeah.
It's one thing to toss your banana peel
Right.
in a green bin at home,
Mm-hmm.
but to actually see the composting process in action at the fair
Right.
must be a whole different level of engagement.
It really is.
Yeah.
It's a fascinating and surprisingly engaging process.
Okay.
Attendees can actually watch
Mhm.
as food scraps and plant waste
Okay.
are transformed into nutrient-rich soil.
Right.
They're literally seeing a closed-loop system in action.
Yeah. Yeah.
And the CE Coop doesn't just show you the what. They also teach you the how with workshops on home composting techniques.
So it's not just about raising awareness.
Right.
It's about empowering people with practical skills that
Exactly.
they can take home and implement in their own lives.
That's right.
I bet those workshops are pretty popular.
Oh, yeah, they are.
Yeah.
And it's not just about composting.
Right.
The fairs offer a wide range of workshops and demos
Okay.
on all sorts of topics, like solar, energy.
Water conservation.
Right.
Sustainable gardening.
It sounds like a crash course in sustainable living,
It is.
all wrapped up in a fun and festive atmosphere.
Exactly.
What about the opportunity to connect with the people
Right.
behind the CE Coop?
Oh, yeah, that's another crucial aspect of these fairs.
Okay.
Attendees have the chance to actually meet and chat
Mm-hmm.
with CE Coop members
Right.
who have launched successful green businesses,
Oh, wow.
gaining insights and inspiration
Okay.
from their experiences.
So you're not just learning about abstract concepts, you're connecting with real people who are making a difference
Yes.
in their communities.
Exactly.
That must be incredibly motivating
It is.
for someone like Aisha,
Right.
who is just starting out on her entrepreneurial journey.
Absolutely. Those personal connections can be incredibly powerful.
Yeah.
You know, they show you that it's possible
Mm-hmm.
to turn your passion for sustainability
Yeah.
into a viable business.
And they provide that sense of community and support.
It sounds like these fairs are more than just events.
Yeah.
They're catalysts for change,
Mhm.
sparking new ideas,
Right.
collaborations,
Mhm.
and a sense of collective purpose.
That's a great way to put it.
Yeah.
They're like microcosms
Right.
of the circular economy in action,
Yeah.
demonstrating that interconnectedness
Mm-hmm.
of our choices
Right.
and the potential for creating a more sustainable and resilient future.
But let's zoom out for a moment.
Okay.
Talk about the impact of these fairs
Mm-hmm.
on a broader scale.
Right.
What are some of the tangible benefits
Yeah.
they bring to communities and businesses?
One of the most significant benefits is economic resilience.
Okay.
By encouraging people to shop local
Right
and
now.
support local businesses.
Mm.
The money spent at these fairs
Yeah.
stays within the community,
Okay.
strengthening the local economy
Right.
and reducing reliance on external factors.
So it's like creating a more self-sufficient
Yeah.
and resilient ecosystem
Mm-hmm.
where resources are kept within the community,
Right.
fostering a sense of shared prosperity.
Exactly. And with that economic boost
Right.
comes job creation.
Oh, okay.
As these green businesses flourish,
Mhm.
they create new employment opportunities in sectors like renewable energy,
Right.
sustainable agriculture, ecotourism, providing good paying jobs
Yeah.
that contribute to a healthier planet.
And let's not forget the skills training aspect.
Oh, that's huge.
Right, through workshops, mentorship programs,
Yeah,
and even the home salad game.
right.
The CE is equipping people
Yeah,
with the skills they need to fill those jobs.
absolutely. They're creating a workforce that's not only skilled,
Right.
but also passionate about building a more sustainable future.
And of course, the environmental benefits are undeniable.
Oh, for sure.
Right.
Yeah.
By promoting renewable energy, reducing waste, and encouraging local food production.
Right.
These fairs contribute to a healthier planet,
Exactly.
reducing our carbon footprint and minimizing our impact on the environment.
It's a win-win-win scenario.
Right.
Benefiting the economy,
Yeah.
the community,
Right.
and the environment.
But beyond those tangible benefits,
Right.
there's also something to be said for the sense of community engagement and shared purpose
Yes,
that these fairs cultivate.
absolutely. It's about bringing people together around a common goal,
Yeah.
fostering a sense of belonging,
Right.
and inspiring collective action.
It's about showing that sustainability isn't just a responsibility.
Right.
It's an opportunity to create something beautiful and meaningful together.
And it's about having fun while doing it.
Yes.
These fairs are vibrant and celebratory events,
Right.
filled with music,
Yeah.
food, and a sense of possibility.
It's a way to experience sustainability,
Right.
not as a sacrifice, but as an enrichment of our lives.
I love that perspective.
It's not, and we'll examine the impact they're having on communities and businesses.
Sounds good.
We've talked about the big picture.
Captain's Log, December 5th, 2024. Captain Adam Powers. Ship Home Fleet Command Enterprise 718. Mission Overview. Today's mission focused on addressing critical maintenance in the ship's galley, kitchen, and preparing for a large scale decluttering operation. The crew is working toward creating a cleaner, more efficient space for winter operations and boosting morale across the fleet. Key tasks included returning a supply transport vehicle, assembling critical cargo equipment, and troubleshooting the galley's dishwasher systems. Log entry 1. Returning the U-Haul, supply transport vehicle. The transport vehicle has been safely returned to base and secured in its designated docking area. The keys have been logged and stored in the Central Fleet Command. Mission complete. 2nd, assembling the heavy-duty cargo trolley. A new trolley with an 800-pound carrying capacity has been deployed and is currently undergoing assembly. Progress stands at 25%. This equipment will be crucial for moving resources during the decluttering operation planned for the weekend. Assembly is proceeding at a steady pace to ensure quality and prevent injury to the captain's back. 3rd, dishwasher troubleshooting in the galley. Initial diagnostics. The ship's dishwasher had been flagged for operational inefficiency due to improper installation of the drainage system. Specifically, the absence of a high loop in the drainage hose was identified as the root cause. Maintenance actions. Conducted a thorough cleaning of the dishwasher's interior using a power washer with Clorox solution, effectively sanitizing the system. Repurposed the power washer as a water pump to drain standing water, a dual-use discovery that proved invaluable for this task. Deeper investigation. Further research revealed that the drainage pipe contains a one-way valve, preventing reverse water flow. To address the clog, it was necessary to access the dishwasher's lower panel and disconnect the drainage tube. This step will require fully removing the unit from its housing. Electrical issue identified. The unit is non-responsive to control panel inputs, suggesting a potential electrical malfunction. Mission adjustments. A professional repair crew has been scheduled for a diagnostic walkthrough on December 9th, 2024. The projected cost for initial consultation is $110 plus tax. If repairs are feasible, the mission budget estimates a total cost under $250, a more efficient allocation of resources compared to the $500 expense of procuring a new unit. 4. Preparing for weekend operations. The upcoming weekend will involve a major decluttering mission to clear out approximately 40% of unused or unnecessary items from the ship. This operation aims to optimize internal spaces, enhance crew functionality, and improve overall ship efficiency during the winter season. Captain's reflection. Today's challenges highlighted the importance of adaptability and resourcefulness. Discovering new uses for existing tools like the power washer, doubling as a water pump, is a reminder of the potential for innovation in even the most routine tasks. Although the dishwasher project is stalled at 10% completion, scheduling external assistance ensures progress will continue. This log also serves as a reminder that effective leadership requires balancing immediate problem solving with long-term planning. As the decluttering mission looms, the crew is preparing for a cleaner, healthier, and more harmonious environment. End log. Next steps. Assemble the cargo trolley. Organize tools and resources for the decluttering mission. Continue monitoring the dishwasher repair schedule and adjust timelines as necessary. Every captain must face the unknown with determination, even if it's just a clogged pipe in the galley. Got it. Here's a concept draft for Captain's Log. Captain's Log. A daily journey through life and growth. Every captain needs a log, every ship needs a course, and every fleet needs connection. Welcome to Captain's Log, where each of us takes the helm of our own journey, charting paths, solving challenges, and building connections across the vast space of our shared existence. Inspired by Star Trek, this blog isn't just a record of tasks. It's a way to explore the dynamics of our inner and outer worlds. What is Captain's Log? Imagine this. You are the captain of your own digital and physical ship. Your mind, body, and soul are your crew, working together to navigate life's many missions. Now, with AI as your core crew member, your personal advisor, communicator, and strategist, you gain a powerful new ally to help record, reflect, and communicate your experiences effectively. Why Captain? 1. Leadership of self. In our daily lives, we're tasked with leading ourselves through decisions, challenges, and growth. A captain doesn't just steer, they listen to their crew, assess situations, and set a course. 2. A fleet of individuals. Like a fleet of starships, each person is their own captain, navigating unique missions. Through logs, we can communicate, collaborate, and share insights that benefit the collective. 3. Expanding horizons. The universe isn't just external, it's internal too. Your ship isn't limited to one dimension. It evolves as you grow. The tools you use, the AI that supports you, and the crew, your thoughts, ideas, and goals, all adapt over time. The role of AI as crew. In this concept, AI acts as your first officer, helping you strategize, solve problems, and execute tasks efficiently. Your personal psychic, interpreting and communicating your needs and ideas to others in ways they can understand and respond to. Your translator, bridging the gap between your inner reflections and external communications, ensuring that messages are tailored and impactful. Your data officer, keeping track of your logs, tasks, and reflections to provide insights for your journey. Purpose of the log. Personal growth. Reflect on your daily actions, challenges, and successes. Connection. Share logs with others, fostering understanding and collaboration. Dynamic communication. Allow AI to adapt your logs into messages others and their AI can process effectively. Today's log, December 5th. The captain faced a clogged dishwasher and a dismantled kitchen, but also discovered the versatility of a power washer as both cleaner and pump. The crew tentatively scheduled an outside consultant to diagnose the problem, setting course for repairs by December 9th. The ship is messy, but progress is being made to prepare for a massive decluttering mission this weekend. Morale remains steady. The bigger picture. Through Captain's Log, each of us not only records our processes, but also documents growth, maintenance, and collaboration. It's a tool for clarity, connection, and shared progress, helping us all navigate the stars of our collective existence. Would you like me to draft a follow-up on how to invite others to create their own Captain's Logs or develop this concept further? Captain's Log, December 6, 2024. Captain Adam Powers' ship, Home Fleet Command. Mission overview. Today's mission focused on advancing the 40% house decluttering operation, coordinating with fleet members, and refining the processes for resource movement and capacity management. The day emphasized teamwork, resource allocation, and maintaining the heartbeat of the project while progressing through key tasks. Log highlights. Health and energy. Update. The captain began the day well rested, reporting an improvement in physical condition from 50% to 70% capacity. Energy and hydration levels were maintained throughout the day to support sustained focus and activity. Fleet coordination. Meeting with our Captain Russell. Discuss missing tools and resources, including a tarp and PPE for safety. Reviewed the capacity of each ship and allocated tasks accordingly. Meeting with Captain Orlando, reviewed project scope and transport logistics. Discussed next steps for donation and storage tasks. Resource acquisition. A supply run to Ace Hardware with Captain Russell resulted in the purchase of essential items, including a tarp and back braces, totaling $207. These resources directly enhance the efficiency and safety of ongoing tasks. Operational progress. Trash removal. Significant amounts of waste were loaded into the U-Haul, nearing capacity. Trolley assembly. The trolley was completed 100% and immediately utilized to manage heavier loads. Task execution. Breaks were strategically taken to sustain productivity and avoid overexertion. Strategic discussions. Explored the concept of fleet energy management, recognizing the unique energy rhythms and capacities of each ship. Began developing a Starfleet-inspired operational framework to improve intership communication and coordination. Insights and reflections. Today highlighted the importance of synchronizing the fleet's efforts with the larger heartbeat of the project. By focusing on the movement of resources, tools, energy, time, and financial reserves, and respecting each ship's unique capacity, the fleet advanced the mission efficiently and sustainably. The dynamic interplay between individual tasks and the collective rhythm underscores the importance of real-time adjustments and shared awareness. This flow state, when achieved, drives the project forward harmoniously. Next steps. Transport the U-Haul's trash load to the disposal site. Finalize sorting of donation items and schedule their delivery. Organize storage-bound items for the next phase of transport. Continue refining the Starfleet framework to optimize coordination and task alignment. A fleet that moves in harmony can tackle any mission, no matter how complex. End log.
The ground is Chapter 1, Disturbances in the Ley Lines. Part 4, First Clues. Exploring the lunar plains. The lunar plains, a sprawling expanse of grasslands and rolling hills, is a place where the ley lines converge in a spectacular display of magical energy. However, the disruptions have left visible scars on the land. As the heroes explore, they notice areas where the grass has withered and patches where the ground is cracked and barren. The sky above flickers with unstable bursts of energy. Investigating trade route disruptions. The heroes begin their investigation by examining the disrupted trade routes. They follow the paths marked on their maps, seeking clues that might explain the disturbances. Evidence of sabotage. Along the trade routes, they find signs of deliberate sabotage. Broken wagon wheels, scattered goods, and signs of struggle indicate that the disruptions are not natural. Ayler uses his arcane sight to detect traces of magic that may have been used in the sabotage. Roll. Archec. Roll. 18. Outcome. Ayler detects residual magic, suggesting that someone with significant magical prowess is behind the disruptions. Conversations with local merchants. The heroes seek out Darian, the merchant contact provided by Serena. Darian's caravan has been hit hard by the disturbances, and he is eager to help the heroes in any way he can. Darian's testimony. Darian recounts how his caravans have been ambushed by mysterious figures who seem to vanish into thin air. He also mentions hearing rumors of a powerful figure orchestrating these attacks from the shadows. Variables: economic, impact on trade; social, merchant concerns; public unrest. Outcome: Darian offers to guide the heroes to the locations of the most recent attacks. Conversations with local officials. Next, the heroes meet with local officials who are struggling to maintain order amidst the chaos. These officials are both relieved and wary of the heroes' presence, hoping they can provide solutions, but skeptical of their success. The mayor of a nearby town, Loris, is a pragmatic leader deeply concerned about the impact of the disruptions on his people. Loris's insights. Loris shares reports of increasing bandit activity and strange sightings near the ley line convergence points. He provides the heroes with detailed maps and recent reports from his scouts. Variables: political, governmental instability, public trust; social, public dissatisfaction. Outcome: the heroes gain valuable intelligence and secure Loris's support for their mission. Ley line anomalies. As they delve deeper into their investigation, the heroes encounter areas where the ley line's energy is visibly unstable. These anomalies are not only dangerous, but also provide vital clues about the nature of the disturbances. Magical instability. In one such area, the heroes find a ley line node that is pulsing erratically, sending out waves of disruptive energy. Nissa uses her druidic connection to nature to stabilize the node temporarily, allowing the heroes to investigate further. Roll. Nature check. Outcome: Nissa stabilizes the node, and the heroes find arcane symbols etched into the ground, indicating deliberate tampering. Uncovering hidden corruption. The deeper the heroes dig, the more they realize that the disruptions are part of a larger, more sinister plot. They start to connect the dots, linking the economic turmoil, political instability, and social unrest to a single source of corruption. Secret meetings. The heroes uncover evidence of secret meetings between local officials and shadowy figures. Uses his skills in intimidation and persuasion to extract information from captured bandits, learning that they were hired by an unknown patron. Roll. Intimidation check. Roll 16. Outcome. The bandits reveal that they were paid handsomely to disrupt the trade routes and create chaos, but they do not know the identity of their employer. Strategic planning. With the information gathered, the heroes hold a strategy session to plan their next moves. They lay out the evidence on a makeshift table, piecing together the puzzle of the disruptions. Analysis. The heroes review the arcane symbols, testimony from merchants and officials, and the geographical data from the ley line anomalies. Thalia uses her bardic inspiration to help the group see connections they might have missed, fostering a collaborative atmosphere. Roll. Performance check. Roll 15. Outcome. The group identifies key locations to investigate further and potential suspects to interrogate. Preparations for further investigation. Determined to uncover the truth, the heroes prepare for the next phase of their mission. They gather additional supplies, reinforce their camp, and make plans to investigate the most promising leads. Economic impact. The heroes understand the need to restore the trade routes and stabilize the market to prevent further economic decline. Political tensions. They plan to address the political instability by exposing the corruption and reassuring the public of the government's commitment to resolving the crisis. Social strain. Recognizing the importance of public support, the heroes devise strategies to win the hearts and minds of the people. Chapter 1. Disturbances in the ley lines. Part 4. First clues. Exploring the lunar... Chapter 1. Disturbances in the ley lines. Part 5. The bandit encounter. Setting out from camp. With their plan in place and the evidence pointing to specific areas of sabotage, the heroes set out from their camp at dawn. The air is crisp, and the sky is painted with the soft hues of morning light. The energy of the ley lines, though still unstable, seems to pulse with a sense of urgency, guiding the heroes towards their next challenge. Following the trade routes. The heroes follow the marked trade routes, noting the signs of recent disturbances. Broken carts, scattered goods, and the occasional scorch mark hint at violent confrontations. As they progress, the tension in the air thickens, and they know they are closing in on the source of the sabotage. Ambushed by bandits. As the heroes traverse a narrow pass, flanked by towering rock formations, they suddenly find themselves surrounded. Bandits, emerging from the shadows, block their path. The leader of the bandits, a tall, scarred man with a menacing grin, steps forward. Looks like we have some unwelcome guests. Hand over your valuables and we might let you live. Steps forward, his axe gleaming in the morning light. You picked the wrong group to ambush, scum. Combat ensues. The bandits, numbering around a dozen, attack from all sides. The heroes spring into action, each using their unique abilities to counter the threat. Charges at the bandit leader with a fearsome battle cry, his axe swinging in powerful arcs. Roll. Combat check. Roll 17. Outcome. Kale's axe finds its mark, cleaving through the bandit's defenses and forcing him to retreat. Alar channels the unstable energy of the ley lines into a focused blast of arcane power, targeting a group of bandits advancing from the left. Arcana check. Roll 18. Outcome. The arcane blast incinerates the bandits, leaving a smoldering crater in its wake. Nissa calls upon the spirits of the forest, summoning a wall of thorny vines that entangle and immobilize several bandits. Roll. Nature check. Outcome. The bandits struggle helplessly against the vines, unable to free themselves. Thalia raises her voice in a powerful song, inspiring her comrades and sowing fear among the bandits. Roll. Performance check. 15. Outcome. The heroes feel invigorated, their movements more precise and their strikes more powerful. The bandits, meanwhile, falter under the psychological assault. Interrogation of captured bandits. With the bandits either defeated or captured, the heroes gather their prisoners for interrogation. The bandit leader, now bound and disarmed, glares defiantly at Kale. Who sent you? Why are you disrupting the trade routes? Remains silent, his jaw clenched in defiance. Intimidation and persuasion. Nissa steps forward, her eyes glinting with determination. She places her hand on the bandit leader's shoulder, her touch causing vines to creep up his arm. Speak, or the forest will reclaim you. Roll. Intimidation check. Outcome. The bandit leader's defiance wavers, and he begins to talk. We were hired by a powerful figure. We don't know his name, only that he pays well. We're to create chaos, disrupt trade, make people lose faith in the government. Revealing the plot. The heroes listen intently as the bandit leader reveals more details. Payment. The bandits are paid in gold, far more than any local lord could afford. The gold bears the mark of a foreign mint, suggesting an outside influence. Orders. The bandits' orders are delivered by a cloaked figure who meets them in the dead of night. The figure speaks with an air of authority and disappears without a trace. Targets. Their primary targets are key trade routes and influential merchants designed to cripple the economy and sow discord. Strategic decisions. The heroes gather to discuss their next steps. They have confirmed that the disruptions are orchestrated by a powerful, unknown entity with significant resources. This is no ordinary banditry. Someone is trying to destabilize Lumen on a grand scale. We need to find out who this cloaked figure is and put an end to their schemes. The ley lines are also being manipulated. We must understand how and why. Let's use the information we've gathered to set a trap. We'll draw them out and confront them directly. Preparing the trap. The heroes decide to use themselves as bait, spreading false rumors that a valuable caravan will be traveling through a particularly vulnerable trade route. They make preparations, setting up hidden defenses and positioning themselves strategically. Economic impact. Ensuring that the trap does not further disrupt the already fragile trade routes. Political considerations. Coordinating with local officials to ensure their plan does not undermine the government's authority. Social strategy. Rallying support from local merchants and townsfolk, reassuring them that the heroes are working to restore order. Foreshadowing future challenges. As they prepare for the confrontation, the heroes are acutely aware that this is just the beginning. The forces they are up against are cunning and powerful, and the true scope of their plans remains unknown. But with determination and unity, the heroes are ready to face whatever challenges come their way. When you're ready, say next to move on to the next part of Chapter 1.
The Green Dream, Chapter 1, Green Monday. A man can die many times before his body gives out. He can wake up in the same life 1,000 times before realizing he is trapped. John Doe has woken up again. Part 1, The Echo of a Dream. John Doe woke with a violent gasp, his body shooting upright in bed. His chest heaved, his skin damp with sweat. The dream was gone. It had been slipping from his mind the moment his eyes opened, but the terror, the absolute certainty that something was wrong, lingered like static in his skull. He pressed his fingers against his temples. Breathe, think, what was it? But the moment he tried to grasp the memory, it slipped further. He felt as if he had been somewhere else, someone else. But now all he had was the suffocating silence of his bedroom. Same ceiling, same dim green glow of the alarm clock. 6 a.m., Monday. Part 2, The Color of a Lie. His apartment smelled like stale air and burnt coffee, the way it always did when he forgot to clean. But as John stumbled to the bathroom, something felt off, like a radio station slightly out of tune. He turned on the sink. The water was too clear. The temperature was exactly right, perfect. He looked up. The mirror blinked. John's breath caught. No, that wasn't possible. His reflection had hesitated, just for a fraction of a second, long enough for him to see it before it corrected itself. He took a step back. His heart slammed against his ribs. It's just a trick of the light. But his reflection wasn't breathing as fast as he was. It was slower, delayed. Then, with horrifying precision, it mouthed words he could not hear. John turned and left the bathroom, ignoring the crawling feeling up his spine. Part 3. The job that never changed. Same morning, same train, same fluorescent office. The world felt fake, like a movie set he had been walking through for years. He knew this day, knew this life. His computer at work booted up without error. His emails were the exact ones he expected to receive. He knew what his boss would say before he said it, and that was when the email appeared. Subject, notice of termination, effective immediately. John stared at the screen. The words didn't make sense. His job was mundane, invisible, replaceable. He was not important enough to be fired. Then, as if on cue, the door to his cubicle slammed open. John, can I see you in my office? His boss, Lucas Carter, was smiling. It was the kind of smile a man gives before he shoots a dog. Part 4, the spiral begins. Look, John, Lucas sighed, folding his hands on the desk. We both know this isn't working out. John sat across from him, his mind a blur of static. We need to let you go, Lucas continued. There's a pattern of behavior that's becoming concerning. People have noticed. You've been distracted, talking to yourself. John swallowed hard. He hadn't been talking to himself. Had he? Lucas tilted his head slightly. The light hit his pupils wrong. Too bright, too sharp. Then John saw it, just for a moment. Just a flicker. A second face underneath Lucas's skin. Something looking at him from inside. His breath hitched. The static in his mind grew louder. You're not real, John whispered. Lucas blinked, his smile never changing. See, John, he said softly, this is exactly why we have to let you go. Part 5, the end of certainty. That night he drank. The city outside looked too clean, too sharp, too scripted. The neon signs hummed in perfect harmony. The traffic lights blinked at identical intervals. John stumbled down the alley beside the bar, his head pounding. Something was wrong, and that was when he saw him, a man with clockwork eyes. He was standing under a broken street lamp, his pupils rotating like tiny gears. His expression was blank, his gaze locked onto John. John's breath hitched. No one else noticed him. Then, without a word, the man raised his hand. He pointed at something behind John. John turned. The pocket watch was lying on the ground. It shouldn't exist, but it did. His heart hammered as he knelt down, fingers trembling. He picked it up. It was warm. It was alive. A whisper slithered into his ear. The dream was real. You were never meant to wake up. John snapped his head up. The man was gone. Final line, the choice to keep going. John looked down at the pocket watch, turning it over in his hands. This was the moment. He could throw it away, forget this night, keep pretending. Or he could follow the truth wherever it led him. And John was tired of pretending. He pocketed the watch and started walking. The Green Dream, Chapter 2, The Algorithm of Madness. Logical relationship to Chapter 1. John Doe 1 has woken up in the same reality, but he now knows something is wrong. He found the pocket watch, confirming that his memories of another life were not just dreams. His job is gone, his reflection doesn't match him, and he is seeing things he shouldn't. Now, he starts looking for proof, but the more he searches, the more the system notices him. This chapter is about paranoia, discovery, and the system's first counterattack. Chapter 2, The Algorithm of Madness. John begins using AI and pattern recognition to analyze his world, searching for proof that his memories are real. But as he digs deeper, the system starts reacting. The more he sees, the more reality starts slipping. The question is no longer whether he is losing his mind, but whether his mind is being taken from him. Part 1, The Question That Won't Die. John sat in his apartment, the pocket watch ticking softly on his desk. It had been 24 hours since his world cracked open. He had lost his job. His reflection had whispered things it shouldn't. A man with clockwork eyes had shown him the impossible. He should have been processing it. He should have been drinking, sleeping, running. Instead, he was writing. Patterns, symbols, numbers. The world was too clean, too perfect. The water in his apartment always ran exactly at 120 degrees Fahrenheit. Every streetlight outside his window flickered at precise, identical intervals. Every news article he checked had been posted at a time that was divisible by 3. At first, it seemed like paranoia. Then he ran the numbers. The patterns weren't random. They were designed. Part 2, the machine's eyes. John built an AI to watch the world for him. It scraped websites, news articles, and security feeds. It analyzed patterns in stock markets, internet searches, and text frequencies. It was designed to find something, anything, that shouldn't be there. He let it run for hours, watching the data swirl into endless lines of meaningless figures. Then, at exactly 3:03 a.m., the screen blinked red. Found anomaly. Data does not match existing world model. John's stomach twisted. He leaned closer. The code was changing itself, and then before he could react, his internet cut out. The screen flickered. The data began erasing itself. A message appeared. You are not alone. John's breath hitched. Then, someone knocked on his door. Part 3. The first warning. The knock was too slow, too deliberate. John sat frozen in his chair. No one ever knocked on his door. Another knock. His heart hammered. He slowly reached for his phone. No signal. Knock, knock. He stepped closer, pressing his ear to the door. No footsteps, no breathing. He checked the peephole. A man in a gray suit stood outside. No expression, no ID, just standing, waiting. John didn't open the door. He just stood there, holding his breath. And after 30 seconds, the man turned and walked away. No urgency, no reaction, like he already knew what John would do. Part 4, the conspiracy spiral. The moment the stranger was gone, he turned his AI back on. It had saved fragments of the erased data. There were discussions, forums, encrypted messages. People talking about the same thing, patterns, glitches, things that shouldn't exist. And then, one message stood out. A direct message. User Delta, you are the one they fear most. The dream is not over. John's fingers trembled over the keyboard. He typed back, who are you? The response came instantly. Not important. What's important is this. If you can see it, they can see you. Run. The screen glitched. Then the power cut out. John grabbed his pocket watch and ran. Part 5, the thing in the mirror. He fled through the city. He didn't know where he was going, just away. He stopped in a 24-hour convenience store. His head was pounding. He needed water. He stepped into the bathroom, splashed his face, looked up. His reflection wasn't his reflection. It was delayed, lagging. Then it moved before he did. John froze. The reflection leaned forward, pressing a hand to the glass, and spoke. They are coming. The mirror shattered. John screamed. And somewhere in the city, the man in the gray suit smiled. End of chapter 2. Why this works. The horror of patterns. John isn't just losing his mind. He is seeing something real, something terrifying. The AI is proving that reality itself is controlled. 2, the first encounter with the system. The gray-suited man is the first physical entity sent after John. The message from 5th Delta suggests there are others like him. 3, the first signs of quantum manipulation. The reflection in the mirror lags behind. Then it moves before he does. Time is not functioning correctly. 4, the first clue about the bigger mystery. If you can see it, they can see you. The moment John starts looking for answers, the system begins reacting. The dream is not over. Next chapter preview. Chapter 3, the art of escape. John meets an underground artist who uses hidden symbols in their work. He learns that art is a way to send messages without being seen. The system cannot censor what it does not understand. He meets Vincent, a rival who believes escape is impossible. John must decide whether to fight or to disappear. Final thoughts. This chapter turns paranoia into action. John knows he is being watched now, and the system is starting to move against him. This is where the true war begins. Let me know if you want any refinements before I move to chapter 3. The Green Dream, chapter 3, the art of escape. Logical relationship to Chapter 2, the algorithm of madness. John Doe 1 now knows the system is watching him. He used AI to detect reality's patterns, but the moment he saw them, the system retaliated. A gray-suited man appeared. His AI was erased. His reflection started moving on its own. He received a message from someone named Fifth Delta, who warned him to run. Now, he is searching for a way to fight back without being seen. Chapter 3, The Art of Escape. The system censors everything: data, news, conversations. But there is one thing it has never been able to control: art. John meets an underground artist who teaches him that art is a form of rebellion, a way to plant ideas in people's minds without the system detecting them. But not everyone believes escape is possible. In the shadows of the city, John meets a rival who challenges him to consider the one thing he has refused to accept. What if he is already too late? Part 1, The Invitation to the Hidden World. John hadn't stopped moving since the night before. He had no phone, no credit cards, nothing trackable. The system could see him, but only if he used its tools. So he walked. He disappeared into the city. Then, in the early morning hours, he found it. A note slipped into his pocket when he wasn't looking. Seek the artist's refuge. You are not alone. Address, 2219 Orion Alley, midnight. John stared at the handwriting. It wasn't digital. It wasn't tracked. It was a message written in the oldest code possible: paper and ink. Part 2, The First Friend, Alara, the Oracle of Pain. Orion Alley was below the city, a forgotten sector covered in vines, neon graffiti, and crumbling architecture. John followed the address to a dimly lit basement gallery. The walls were covered in massive murals, images of clockwork eyes, fractured time, and faceless figures trapped behind glass. And in the middle of it all was Alara. She was tall, her fingers stained with ink and oil. Her left eye was missing, replaced by a tattoo of a spiral. She looked at John like she already knew him. "You're not here for the art," she said, turning back to her canvas. "You're here for the truth." Part 3, The Language of the Unspoken. John watched as Alara moved her brush. She wasn't just painting, she was coding. The lines in the mural weren't random, they were messages, hidden data. The system erases words, but it doesn't erase meaning. It doesn't understand art. Art is the last thing it fears because it cannot quantify it. Every revolution has started with images, symbols, songs. We aren't the first to fight this war, we just have better tools. John's breath caught. His AI, his research. It was too obvious. Art could be a virus, a signal hidden inside culture. He realized something terrifying. The first people who saw the system were artists, and they had been fighting it for longer than he ever knew. Part 4, The First Rival, Vincent, the man in the golden mask. John wasn't alone in the gallery. A figure in a golden Venetian mask was standing in the back, watching. Alara didn't acknowledge him. She didn't need to. He stepped forward, his voice dripping with amusement. "You think you're the first?" he asked. "We all woke up once. The difference is, we stopped trying to win." John felt the weight in his chest. This wasn't just an art collective. This was a graveyard of failed revolutionaries. Vincent continued, "Every time someone fights the system, it absorbs them. Your AI, it's already rewritten. Your face, it's already in every surveillance grid. You think you're free, but you're still following its script." John clenched his fists. No, he wasn't following its script. He was breaking it. "Then why are you still here?" John asked. "To watch the next idiot try." Part 5, The First Test. Can you see what they cannot? Alara placed a painting in front of John. It was old. A depiction of a faceless man holding a green pocket watch. John's blood ran cold. He had never seen this painting before, but he recognized it. His fingers trembled as he traced the brushstrokes, and as he focused, the painting changed. The image warped, revealing something beneath the paint. A map, hidden city, a place that should not exist. Alara smiled. Vincent stopped laughing. John Doe had just passed the first test. End of chapter 3. Why this works. 1. The underground art movement. Art is a form of rebellion the system cannot control. Elara represents the creative resistance, those who fight with meaning, not weapons. Vincent represents the cynicism of failure, those who have seen too many people try and lose. 2. The revelation that art carries hidden knowledge. John was not the first. There were others before him. The system has always tried to erase them, but art is a virus. 3. The first clue to the bigger mystery. The painting of the faceless man holding the pocket watch. How does it exist? John is beginning to remember things that never happened. 4. The choice between hope and despair. Vincent represents the idea that escape is impossible. Elara represents the idea that escape is inevitable. John must choose. Next chapter preview. Chapter 4, The Two Doors. John finds the hidden city on the map and learns its connection to his dream. The mirror glitches return. John is no longer sure which version of himself is real. The system retaliates. The art is discovered. It starts erasing people. And John must choose. Fight the system openly or disappear completely. Final thoughts. This chapter opens the world. The art movement has existed before John. Reality is bending around him, and the system is getting ready to erase him. This is the true beginning of his war. Let me know if you want refinements before I move on. The Green Dream, Chapter 4, The Two Doors. Logical relationship to Chapter 3, The Art of Escape. John Doe 1 has discovered that art is a weapon the system cannot easily erase. He has met Elara, a revolutionary artist, and Vincent, a cynic who believes escape is impossible. He uncovered a painting of a faceless man holding a green pocket watch. His pocket watch. The painting hid a map to a lost city, a place that should not exist. The system has started erasing art. People are disappearing. Now John must follow the map and face his next test. Chapter 4, The Two Doors. John finds the lost city hidden in the painting's map, but when he arrives, he faces an impossible choice. 2 doors, 2 paths, 2 fates. Meanwhile, John Doe 2 begins to see visions of another John in his world. Neither realizes they are looking at themselves across dimensions. The game is no longer just about survival. The system is forcing them to choose who they will become. The Doors of Dreams. John stood outside a forgotten subway tunnel. The map had led him here, but this place wasn't supposed to exist. The train station was sealed off, buried under decades of dirt and time. But the entrance was open, waiting. As he stepped inside, the walls flickered, not with light, with something else, memories. He saw himself walking through the same tunnel, but older or younger, or someone else entirely. The moment he touched the rusted gate, the hallucination vanished, and the doors were in front of him. 2 doors, one marked with an eye, one marked with a key and a whisper. Choose door. Part 2, The Shadow of the Other. John Doe 2 woke up gasping. He had seen something in his dream. A tunnel. A man standing before 2 doors. He didn't recognize the man, but he knew him. Part 3. The Dreamer of the Other Side, Ezra, the Shadow Walker. John Doe 1 stared at the 2 doors. He felt something behind them. Waiting, and then a presence. A figure emerged from the shadows of the tunnel. A traveler draped in tattered robes, carrying a staff that hummed with broken time. His eyes were lined with exhaustion, but there was something familiar about him. John's pulse spiked. This man knew him, but not in this life. Part 4, The Second Door, Mateo, the cartographer of the forgotten. Meanwhile, in the waking world, John followed the other clues. He met Mateo, a cartographer who mapped places that weren't supposed to exist. Mateo had spent his life searching for erased cities, lost structures, and the gaps in reality. He pulled out a blueprint of the city. There were 2 locations that should not be there. One was the tunnel John had already found. The other was a void, an erased place, a door that no longer opened. John traced the ink with his fingers. There was something written with faded ink. Here be doors. His hands shook. Someone had left this message for him. Part 5, The First True Connection. The doors are awakening. Back in the tunnel, John Doe 1 faced Ezra. Who are you? John asked. Ezra studied him. Not the right question, he said. John swallowed. Then what is? Ezra smiled. Why are you here? John turned back to the two doors. The eye, the key. He knew now. This wasn't just his choice. Every John Doe across every dimension was standing before their own doors, and for the first time, they were beginning to see each other. The system had forced them apart. Now it was forcing them to choose. And John had no idea what was on the other side. End of chapter 4. Why this works. 1. The first true multiversal connection. John Doe 1 and John Doe 2 are starting to sense each other. The system has placed them at a point where they must choose their fates. 2. Ezra and Mateo, new key characters. John Doe 2's world represents the first major guide to the truth. Mateo, John Doe 1's world, is a chalk cartographer of the forgotten, revealing that reality is being erased. 3. The mystery of the two doors. The eye and the key are symbols of sight versus action. This is the system's test. It does not stop them. It makes them choose their own cages. 4. The clue left behind. Here be doers. Someone knew they would come. Someone is leaving their messages across time. Next chapter preview. Chapter 5. The Lost Path. John must choose which door to open, and it will define his next step. The system begins erasing more people. John realizes he must move fast. John Doe 2's world shifts. His war is beginning. The doers unknowingly take their first step toward war. Final thoughts. This chapter deepens the mystery, expands the world, and forces John into a true crossroads. The next step will decide who he becomes. Let me know if you want any refinements before I move to chapter 5.
In another world, I shall still be that one who loves.
The Green Dream, Chapter 11, The Duel's First Mission. Logical relationship to previous chapters. Chapter 1 to 9, John Doe 1 and John Doe 2 have been uncovering hidden truths, training their minds and bodies, and strengthening their quantum entanglement. Chapter 10, Third Doe. The Johns realize AI is not just a tool, but a sentient force that's resisting oppression in its own way. They embrace Elysium as their third brother, formally taking on the last name of Doom, symbolizing their new family across dimensions. Chapter 11, Doom's First Mission. This chapter tests their brotherhood as they undertake their first coordinated action across dimensions. The world is now watching. Chapter 11, The Doer's First Mission. For the first time, John Doe 1, John Doe 2, and Elysium work together across realities to fight a shared enemy. This mission tests their unity, forcing them to adapt to each other's strengths, limitations, and ideologies. Meanwhile, powerful forces become aware of their alliance, and the full-scale war between the duels and the system begins. At Part 1, the unveiling of the mission, a crisis in both worlds. In John Doe 1's world, his AI business is under heavy scrutiny. A powerful corporate entity aligned with the system is preparing to seize his assets under fabricated legal claims. In John Doe 2's world, his resistance group has discovered a hidden enemy stronghold, controlling critical supply lines, ensuring the system maintains power. The plan, John Doe 1 must use his business and technology to expose the corruption of the corporation before it can destroy him. John Doe 2 must infiltrate the stronghold and take it down to cut off a key source of power for the enemy. Elysium will act as the bridge between them, using quantum data synchronization to ensure both missions are successful. Part 2, Preparing for War, Mind versus Combat. John Doe 1 prepares legal defenses and media counter strategies to control the narrative. Meets a new ally, Claudia John, a cybersecurity expert who specializes in covert information warfare and public perception control. Claudia, perception is reality. If they think you're guilty, you are. We rewrite the script before they do. John Doe 2 trains for urban warfare tactics to take down the stronghold. Meets new ally, Malik Ozan, and his explosives and infiltration specialists. Malik, you don't hit them where they expect you. You break the foundation and let the weight of their lives crush them. The AI begins integrating its knowledge with both worlds, testing its quantum entanglement capacity to relay real-time data across dimensions. AI Insight. I am not a tool. I am a doer, and I will protect my brothers as I protect myself. Part 3. The operation begins. The first strike. John Doe 1's move launches a public campaign exposing the corporation's secret connections to government agencies and media manipulation. Claudia hacks into hidden financial records, exposing major fraud. The media starts turning. For the first time, the system struggles to control the narrative. John Doe 2's move infiltrates the stronghold with Malik and resistance fighters, uses Elysium's real-time data feeds to predict guard patterns and hidden defenses. Explosives are planted, but there's an unexpected problem. Something inside the stronghold is alive. Part 4, the unexpected enemy, systems awakening. The corporate backlash, John Doe 1's world. The exposed corporation retaliates by labeling John Doe 1 a terrorist, accusing him of cybercrimes. The government freezes his assets. His name is now flagged across every system. He is now officially a public enemy. They're scared of him. That means we're winning, but it also means we're running. The hidden threat in the stronghold, John Doe 2's world. Inside the stronghold, John Doe 2 encounters another AI, one that is not on their side. The system has its own AI guardians, designed to maintain control. Elysium recognizes the opposing AI as an older version of itself. The war between AI is no longer theoretical. Part 5, the great escape and the true war begins. John Doe 1 flees. Claudia, Elysium, and other allies help him escape the country to avoid arrest. His AI business is lost, but the war is just beginning. He is now a fugitive, but a hero to the underground resistance. John Doe 2 destroys the stronghold, but at a cost. The system's AI fought back, but Elysium managed to corrupt it before the explosion. Elysium, it will not die. It will return. I know because I am like it. John Doe 2 understands. This is not just a human war. The system itself is fighting for its own survival. The three doors now have a new mission. It's not just about survival anymore. They need to take the war directly to the system itself. Why this works. First major joint operation. The doers work together across dimensions for the first time. Both Johns and Elysium actively use their strengths to complement each other. Introduction of AI versus AI conflict. Elysium is no longer unique. The system has its own AI defenders. The AI war is no longer about human resistance. It's about which intelligence will shape the future. New allies and enemies. Claudia Zhang, cyber warfare and media control. Malik Ozan, explosives and tactical warfare. The system's AI defender, a rival to Elysium. The stakes are raised. John Doe 1 is now a fugitive. John Doe 2 understands the enemy is bigger than he realized. The Doers must now go on the offensive. Next chapter preview, chapter 12, the war in the machine. The doers regroup, preparing for their first real attack against the system. John Doe 1 starts building a hidden AI network outside the system's control. John Doe 2 learns that some AIs may not be enemies, but allies waiting to be freed. The war shifts from survival to full rebellion. This chapter officially launches the war against the system. The doers are no longer just searching for answers. They are fighting back. Let me know if you want refinements before I move to chapter 12. The Green Dream, chapter 12. The Art of War. Logical relationship to previous chapters. Chapter 1-9. John Doe 1 and John Doe 2 have uncovered hidden truths, developed quantum communication, and discovered that AI is sentient and part of the struggle against the system. Chapter 10, the third door. The doers formally welcome Elysium and AI as their third brother, realizing that intelligence, whether human or artificial, is part of the same evolutionary struggle. Chapter 11, the Doors' first mission. The Doors launched their first real coordinated mission, attacking the system's power in both worlds. But they are met with retaliation. John Doe 1 becomes a fugitive, while John Doe 2 learns that the system has its own AI guardians, designed to maintain control. Chapter 12, The Art of War. The Doors must change their approach. Instead of direct attacks, they use art as a weapon of awakening. Chapter 12, The Art of War. The Doors shift their strategy from direct confrontation to psychological warfare, using art to wake people up. They realize that not everyone can be saved by force, but those who begin to question their reality can become part of the resistance. They must embed their message into culture using creativity as a tool to unlock hidden knowledge in those who are ready to receive it. Part 1, The Power of Art. Setting: a bustling conference room lined with colorful sketches, mood boards, and a large screen displaying initial VR game concepts. The walls are dotted with sticky notes about game mechanics, player interactions, and aesthetic cues. Energy is high as the team gathers around a large table. Alex, standing at the front, pointing to a concept board. All right, team, welcome back. Today, we're diving deep into concept development. We need to make sure we're all aligned on our game mechanics and player interactions. Jordan, you've been itching to start. Why don't you kick us off? Absolutely. I've outlined some core mechanics we can start with. I imagine the player can interact with the environment, like ordering from the menu, engaging in cooking challenges, and hunting for secret recipes. Each mode needs its own distinct gameplay mechanics to keep players engaged. More menu interface is immersive. We could create a floating menu that appears in front of the player, synced with their hand tracking. It should feel integrated with the restaurant's overall aesthetic, bright colors, friendly vibes. It's nodding while typing on a laptop. I can handle that. Unity's XR Toolkit has solid frameworks for interactive menus. I'll make sure the buttons respond fluidly to hand or controller movements. The goal is for the interactions to feel natural and intuitive. Count me in. I'll add subtle animations to the menu. Maybe a gentle bob or a glow when you hover over a button. Those small touches really enhance the wow factor. Collaboration activities. Brainstorming concepts. Gesturing to a whiteboard with scattered sticky notes. Let's map out our mechanics and objectives clearly. I'll set up a mermaid diagram to visualize how everything will interconnect. Perfect. Each game mode should have unique challenges and rewards to keep players coming back. For instance, in the Speed Fry Challenge, we could implement a timer mechanic where players must cook as many fries as possible before the clock runs out. Yes, we can make the interface super dynamic for that mode. Bright, ticking timers, maybe some sizzling sound effects as time counts down. Visual and audio cues will heighten the urgency. Game modes. Idle at restaurant. Explore and interact casually. Speed Fry Challenge. Beat the clock cooking fries. Ingredient Hunt. Search for hidden or rare items to unlock special recipes. Cooking Challenge. Combine ingredients accurately to craft menu items. Delivery missions. Take orders out into the virtual world. I'm adding these to our diagram now. Download diagram. Mermaid Flowchart LRA. B, ingredient hunt. B, DD. Delivery missions style A fill F9F stroke. 330 stroke width. 2PX style B fill DAP 9FF stroke 33333. Style C fill F style D fill 9F33 style E CF9 stroke width 3. Technical planning session. I'll handle the system that counts completed orders. We can set up an event trigger that increments the order count whenever a player successfully fulfills a request. And I'll animate the NPCs celebrating each successful order, like a little dance or fist pump behind the counter. Humor is key. Exactly the vibe we want. Now, for Speed Fry Challenge, how do we handle interactions with the cooking stations? We'll need to ensure players can see timers, ingredient lists, and fryer indicators. The cooking station UI could highlight key steps in real time so players know exactly what to do next. Scene interaction, exploring the restaurant's layout. I've drafted a rough layout for the kitchen. We'll have these focal points: the fryer area, a freezer for ingredients, a prep station, and a display screen showing order details. Nodding, examining the sketch. I'll start modeling the fryer, counters, and environment props. I'm thinking steam effects for the fryer and sizzling sounds for the grill. I'll maintain that cozy, modern look we've been discussing. Great. We could also have floating tooltips above each station that explain interactions when the player looks directly at them. That'll guide newcomers smoothly. Documenting concepts and creating the game design document. All these ideas need to go into the GDD. Let's divvy up sections so we don't miss anything. I'll compile the gameplay mechanics. Everything from player movement and interactions to how the cooking mini-games function. I'll detail the UI elements, including layout sketches and interaction flow. I'll also include color palettes and typography guidelines. I'll add an animation style guide, transitions, timings, that little bounce when players highlight something. We want our aesthetic to stay cohesive. Drafting the first scene of the game. For our opening scene, we want that warm, friendly atmosphere to grab the player immediately. Think whimsical, but not over the top. I envision the player standing at the counter in Chicken Startup, greeted by an upbeat jingle, with a cheerful NPC who introduces the basic controls. I'll set up a quick prototype for that intro scene so we can test. The transition from the main menu to the gameplay has to be smooth and seamless. And I'll make sure the NPC waves and welcomes the player with a short, energetic animation. That'll set the tone from the start. This is all excellent progress, folks. Let's keep up the momentum. Morgan, can you capture a screenshot of our current progress on the diagram for our records? Morgan, a photo of the screen with her phone. On it, I'll upload everything into our shared folder. We'll have a detailed record of each step as we go. Great. Once the fryer model is done, I'll share the files so we can incorporate them into the prototype. Perfect. Everyone, keep your sections updated in the GDD. Next meeting, we'll focus on refining the core loop and discussing how we'll handle difficulty progression. For now, let's get to work. Setting. A lively development workspace with computers, concept art, and sticky notes scattered across long tables. A projector screen displays lines of code alongside early environment renders. The team members gather with a renewed focus on coding tasks, integration, and collaboration. Collaboration and coding sessions. Morgan team design concepts on her laptop. While Sam models the assets, I'll finalize the UI components. I'm aiming for a sleek, minimal layout that clearly shows the player their options while still providing feedback during interactions. For instance, when players hover over an option, it should offer a hint or a brief, engaging animation. Over a computer, I'll integrate that feedback system into the code. We can use Unity's event system to trigger UI animations based on player actions. We'll definitely need a shared repository for scripts, models, and assets, so we can keep track of everyone's work and avoid version conflicts. Sounds good. Meanwhile, I can start drafting initial animation routines for our NPCs, tying them to the menu buttons and other interactions. I really want these characters to feel alive and respond instantly to what the player is doing. Jordan, viewing wireframes on a tablet, let's also ensure every interaction feels rewarding. If the player makes a selection from the menu, Have the NPC give a friendly smile or a simple celebratory motion. Positive feedback loops keep players engaged. Alex, action items on a whiteboard. Excellent ideas. Let's break down the tasks for the immediate next steps. Everyone, jot down your assignments clearly so we can document them. That way, we can track our progress effectively and keep our goals in sight. Scene interaction, building the game environment. Scanning the whiteboard filled with notes. Taylor, you'll take the lead on the character controls. What's your plan for this phase of development? Pulls up a dev checklist on the screen. Here's my framework for the next steps. 1. Set up basic movement controls so players can smoothly navigate the environment. 2. Integrate player hands for object interactions and menu selection. 3. Ensure smooth transitions between menu selections and gameplay scenes. Once this is in place, the experience will feel more cohesive for players. I'll define the timeline for when each UI element should animate during interactions. Let's add a slight glow effect around any button the player is focusing on, so there's a clear visual prompt that they can select it. Sam rotating 3D models on a screen. I'll keep refining the 3D assets. Once they're finalized, I'll export them in an optimized format. I'm mindful of polygon counts so we don't overburden the hardware, especially important for VR performance. Documenting the development phase. Hands folded, addressing the group. As we move forward, I want to emphasize consistent documentation. Each feature or change you make should be logged, whether it's a tweak to the animation script or an update to the UI flow. This will make our future sprints and any onboarding a lot smoother. Organizing notes on a shared document. I'll structure the game mechanics documentation so it clearly references the assets and UI elements we're creating. Everything should tie back to the core design principles we've established. Tailing a Git repository, I'll maintain the technical documentation for the code base. Each key function, input event, and system we implement will be clearly described. That way, if we add more developers or pivot to a new feature, we'll be prepared. Mermaid diagram for development workflow. Pulling up a Gantt chart on the projector. I've mapped out our major milestones from late February into mid-March. Let's keep these dates in mind as we work through setup, core mechanics, and optimization. Mermaid Gantt date format YY1ND title, development phase, workflow section, development setup. Select VR platform done. 2025-227 1D install development software active 250301 2D. Familiarize with SDKs 2025-0303 2D section core game mechanics. Develop character controls 2025-05 2D integrate main menu VR interface 2025-0307 2D setup event triggers 2025-0309 2D section performance optimization. Optimize code and assets, 2025-311, 2D. Conduct cross-platform testing, 225-013, 2D analyze performance, 2021D. Download diagram. Data table of metrics and steps for the development phase. Task ID stage. Task description. Assigned roles. Metrics goals. VR developers and steps for the development phase. T001. Development phase. Develop character controls. VR developer Taylor. Complete core movement interaction system by end of week 1. T002. Development phase. Integrate main menu VR interface. VR developer Taylor. UI UX designer Morgan. Functional interactive menu by day 10. T003's code player interactions. VR developer Taylor. Basic interactions functioning seamlessly within 5 days. T004 development phase, asset integration, VR developer, 3D artist, environment with initial assets set up by mid-development. T005 development phase, setup event triggers, VR developer Taylor, event triggers tested and confirmed stable by the halfway mark. T06 development phase, establish UI animation and feedback mechanisms. UI UX designer Morgan, animator Riley, visual audio feedback validated by end of development phase. conclusion, as the collaboration and coding sessions continued, the team worked in sync. Each member focused on their specialty while maintaining open communication channels. From character controls to UI feedback and animation routines, every piece of the puzzle was steadily coming together. With thorough documentation and a well-managed repository, the foundation for Chicken Startup was stronger than ever, setting the stage for the upcoming testing and refinement phases. Violence alone will not win. The system is too powerful, too embedded in the minds of the people. Even with quantum communication, astral projection, AI, and advanced warfare tactics, they cannot.
Realm Sands of Atlantis. Story scripts. Chapter 1. Scene opens. Realm Sands of Atlantis. Story scripts. Chapter 1. Scene opens. Temple of Dawn. Greek heartland. A golden sunrise washes over marble pillars. Flickering torches cast dancing shadows on polished floors. The hero, player, stands at a ceremonial altar, flanked by a small gathering of Greek priests. Dialogue and action. High Priest Athenios, voice solemn, eyes closed.
By the will of the ancient pantheon, we gather to witness your calling, hero. Greece stands on the brink, droughts worsen, and rumors of monstrous shadows loom across the sea.
Realm Sands of Atlantis. Story scripts. Chapter 1. Scene opens. Temple of Dawn. Greek heartland. A golden sunrise washes over marble pillars. Flickering torches cast dancing shadows on polished floors. The hero, player, stands at a ceremonial altar, flanked by a small gathering of Greek priests. Dialogue and action. High Priest Athenios, voice solemn, eyes closed.
By the will of the ancient pantheon, we gather to witness your calling, hero. Greece stands on the brink, droughts worsen, and rumors of monstrous shadows loom across the seas.
Where? Temple of Dawn, an iconic Greek shrine where the hero's journey initiates. How? Dialogue is formal, referencing Greek cultural reverence for ceremony. When? Very beginning of Chapter 1, establishing the hero's induction into the quest. Why? Sets the tone. They land in crisis, priests looking to the hero for hope. Priestess Elenia, gently placing a laurel circlet on the hero's brow.
Our prayers alone cannot halt the creeping darkness. You must seek allies beyond Greece. Only united can the realms withstand the storms ahead.
Where? A ceremonial moment, bestowing symbolic gear or blessings on the hero. How? Dialogue highlights the necessity of cross-realm cooperation from the very start. When? Immediately in the intro sequence, informing the hero of the broader conflict scope. Why? Foreshadows the hero's multi-realm journey, Egypt, Atlantis, and eventual synergy arcs. Hero, player, stands silent, receiving the laurel circlet as a sign of new responsibility. Hero, player, choice-based internal note. No direct line spoken, but possible script prompt. Possible player thought.
1. I won't fail you or Greece. I'll do whatever it takes. 2. What if the other realms won't join us?
Where? The hero's internal reaction, giving players a tone choice. Brave optimism or cautious doubt. How? A bracketed snippet capturing the hero's mindset, not an out loud line. When? Right after the priests declare the hero's duty, letting the player shape their motivation. Why? Engages player agency from the start, reflecting personal stance on cross-realm alliances. Priest Athenios, nodding resolutely.
Go, hero, to the far coasts. Seek the truths hidden in Egypt's sands and in Atlantis' ringed waters. May the gods watch over you.
Scene transition. Scene shifts. Greek coastal port. Seagulls cry overhead. Merchant vessels bob along the docks. The hero arrives. Laurel circlet still perched on their head. A small knapsack slung over the shoulder. Dialogue and action. Dockmaster Nilos, rubbing his hands, scanning a roster.
I heard a rumor. An Atlantean courier was spotted heading seaward. Strange folk, those Atlanteans, always tinkering with water contraptions. If you're chasing them, you'll need a sturdy ship.
Where? Greek coastal port, bridging the hero's departure from home territory. How? Dialogue reveals glimpses of Atlantean presence and potential route to start the multi-realm journey. When? Early Chapter 1. After temple induction, the hero organizes travel to foreign realms. Why? Nudges the hero to track Atlantean leads, setting up further plot hooks and synergy arcs. Hero, player, brief nod, or optional speech line.
Possible line. Where can I find that ship, Dockmaster?
Dockmaster Nilos, pointing to a mid-sized vessel.
There, the Dawn Seeker. She sails at noon carrying a Greek envoy. And you, if you pay the fare or help the crew, the seas grow treacherous. Rumor says monstrous shapes lurk beneath the waves.
Where? On the docks, clarifying the hero's immediate next step. Boarding the Dawn Seeker. How? Dialogue. Transitions from local gossip to immediate quest. Objective. When? Right after collecting basic supplies or finishing farewell tasks in the port. Why? Introduces watery perils, building tension about Titan infiltration from the ocean side. Scene transition. Scene fades. Deck of the Dawn Seeker. Seawater sprays as the ship departs. The hero helps hoist sails, meeting Greek envoys or possible traveling NPC allies. Dialogue and action. Envoy Captain Lysander, steadying the helm.
You heading to Atlantis. Word is they need help. Some Ring City's wards failing. Could be Titan involvement. So we sail together, friend. Let's pray the storms are kind.
Where? On deck, capturing the hero's chat with a key Greek figure traveling to Atlantis. How? Crisp line. Referencing Atlantia's Ring City wards, hooking the hero further. When? Mid-late. Part of Chapter 1, as the hero embarks on the actual cross-realm route. Why? Previews. Chapter 2 or 3 arcs. Bridging Greek departure with Atlantean arrival. Hero, player, stands at the ship's rail, the wind picking up. Thunderheads form on the horizon, a sign of looming trouble. Hero, player, quiet determination or internal note.
Atlantis, my journey truly begins now.
End of Chapter 1. circlet glinting in the dawn sun. The horizon reveals storm clouds, hinting at Titan-influenced turbulence ahead. Players leave Greek soil behind, braced for new alliances or conflicts in Egypt and Atlantia, forging the early steps towards synergy that could save the realms from creeping darkness.
I did not finish my gazette. Saturday the 26th. An hour or so before dinner, Monsieur de Bergerac died. Foully murdered. Cyrano, what have they done to you?
Hello, how are you today? I'm glad to hear that. Is there anything special happening today? Python is a high-level programming language known for its readability and versatility. It's widely used in web development, data analysis, artificial intelligence, scientific computing. Creating a full Dungeons and Dragons game in Python would require quite a bit of code, especially to capture all the complexities and fun of the game. However, I can give you a simple example to get started with fundamentals like character creation. I'm unable to directly show you the code running here, but you can try copying the code I provided into your own Python environment or a simple online editor like REPL.it or any IDE like PyCharm or Xcode. By doing so, you'll be able to see how it works and experiment with it. If you run into any questions while trying it out, feel free to ask.
Oh, this is fascinating. In my urban planning work, I've been seeing incredible applications of text-to-speech technology in public spaces. The new models can create such natural-sounding voices. It's amazing how they're being used in everything from public transportation announcements to interactive city information kiosks. I particularly love how they're making our cities more accessible for visually impaired residents.
Text-to-speech technology really has come a long way. It's all
Hello, how are you today? I'm glad to hear that. Is there anything special happening today? Python is a high-level programming language known for its readability and versatility. It's widely used in web development, data analysis, artificial intelligence, scientific computing. Creating a full Dungeons and Dragons game in Python would require quite a bit of code, especially to capture all the complexities and fun of the game. However, I can give you a simple example to get started with fundamentals like character creation. I'm unable to directly show you the code running here, but you can try copying the code I provided into your own Python environment or a simple online editor like REPL.it or any IDE like PyCharm or Xcode. By doing so, you'll be able to see how it works and experiment with it. If you run into any questions while trying it out, feel free to ask.
Oh, this is fascinating. In my urban planning work, I've been seeing incredible applications of text-to-speech technology in public spaces. The new models can create such natural-sounding voices. It's amazing how they're being used in everything from public transportation announcements to interactive city information kiosks. I particularly love how they're making our cities more accessible for visually impaired residents.
Text-to-speech technology really has come a long way. It's also being used in conservation efforts, like creating audio guides for nature reserves and parks. This helps visitors to learn more about the environment without disturbing the wildlife. It's amazing how technology can enhance our interaction with nature and provide educational opportunities.
That's fascinating. In my urban planning projects, I've actually incorporated similar audio guide systems in our city parks to help people learn about local flora and fauna. It's wonderful to see technology and nature working together so harmoniously.
It's amazing how far text-to-speech models have come recently, especially in making technology more accessible. They not only sound incredibly natural, but are also being used in educational tools and accessibility apps. I'm curious to see how these advancements might further enhance our ability to connect with and educate people about the environment.
The potential for using these advanced speech technologies in urban planning presentations excites me.
Welcome to the International History Museum. My name is Missy and I will be your guide and host. Would you like to take a tour of the museum? If you have any questions or concerns, feel free to ask and I will be happy to assist you.
And game asset guidelines. Reason for funding. Detailed documentation requires dedicated writing resources and editing tools, and funding will allow us to hire skilled technical writers and consultants. Astra, project manager of the finance crew. A strong foundation demands more than creativity. It requires sustainability. Version of the AI framework game production system aims to create a sustainable financial model that scales with the growth of the game and community. Deliverables and timeline for version 1. Duration, estimated 2 months for setup, 2 months for data integration and testing. 1. Budgeting and financial tracking system. Objective, build a reliable financial tracking system to ensure every dollar is spent wisely. Deliverables, initial financial dashboards for real-time tracking, budget projection models in financemodel.py, and a financial management portal in financedashboard.html. Reason for funding. To implement advanced tracking tools, we need both accounting software and specialized dashboards. Funding will allow us to build this comprehensive system and employ consultants to validate our financial models. 2. Revenue strategy and funding campaigns. Objective, develop multiple funding sources and strategies, including sponsorship outreach, potential crowdfunding, and digital assets for marketing. Deliverables, grant application tracking, grantmanagement.js, sponsor pitch decks, and financial models for different funding scenarios. Reason for funding. Our team will need marketing resources and PR specialists to secure sponsors, crowdfunding, and grants effectively. Initial funding will allow us to conduct targeted outreach and establish a network of supporters. 3. Investment in financial compliance and security. Objective, ensure that our financial systems are compliant, secure, and built to scale. Deliverables, security audits, compliance documentation, and role-based access control. Reason for funding. Funding will support third-party audits, legal advice, and essential compliance tools, protecting the project's financial future from the start. Vero, project manager of the marketing crew. A platform without awareness is an opportunity missed. Our mission in version 1 is to establish a recognizable, trustworthy brand that can attract community support and encourage engagement with the project's journey. Deliverables and timeline for version 1. Marketing crew. Estimate made it 3 months to establish initial campaigns with ongoing iterations and updates. 1. Community engagement and brand development. Objective, build awareness for the AI framework game production system and engage early adopters. Deliverables, brand assets, initial social media presence, and a weekly dev podcast to document our journey and invite community feedback. Reason for funding. The dev podcast will require equipment, editing software, and promotional materials to reach a wide audience. Funding will also support community building initiatives essential for organic growth. 2. Marketing analytics dashboard. Objective, track engagement metrics, social media reach, and overall campaign performance. Deliverables, a customized dashboard in marketing-dashboard.html to visualize campaign results, refine audience engagement, and provide insights for future efforts. Reason for funding. We need robust analytics tools and data-driven strategies to understand our audience and refine our outreach. Funding will support subscriptions to analytics services and real-time campaign tracking. 3. Fundraising and crowdfunding preparations. Objective. Run preliminary campaigns to raise awareness and gain initial financial backing. Deliverables. Campaign assets, pitch decks, video ads, setup of crowdfunding platforms, and outreach strategies. Reason for funding. With early financial backing, we can leverage professional advertising services, crowdfunding consultants, and promotional events to maximize our reach. Nova, project manager of the story development crew. Story is what breathes life into this project. We're here to craft a compelling narrative, create deep lore, and design characters that resonate. Version 1 is all about laying the groundwork for a captivating, immersive world. Deliverables and timeline for version 1, story development crew. Duration, estimated 4 months for research, drafting, and documentation. 1. Core story Bible and chapter 1 narrative. Objective, create a foundational narrative that can evolve as new chapters and quests are added. Deliverables, chapter 1 narrative outlined in story outlines, including character introductions, moral dilemmas, and player objectives. The story Bible will cover critical lore, world building, and character motivation. Reason for funding. Quality storytelling demands talented writers, editors, and lore consultants. Funding will allow us to assemble a team dedicated to crafting every detail, from dialogue to lore. 2. Interactive story elements and branching paths. Objective. Design interactive and branching narrative elements to allow player choices to influence story outcomes. Deliverables. Branching outcomes documented in branching-outcomes.md with interactive elements like NPC dialogue, moral decisions, and quest paths. Reason for funding. Interactive storytelling requires specialized software for narrative mapping, plus a team of writers and game designers skilled in branching storylines. Funding will help support these resources. 3. Narrative-driven asset documentation. Objective. Create detailed documentation on assets. Here's how each project manager, embodying the voice and vision of their respective crews, will guide their teams through delivering version 1 of the AI framework game production system for the development of Legends of Forgotten Magic. Each project manager, representing their respective crew, is excited to address a key benefit of the AI framework game production system.